Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Redux What Ifs, and today I got a huge what if for y'all, man. It's gonna be what if. Oh, sorry for the y'all. Before I even get to calling this what if, man. Yeah, I really appreciate y'all for real, man. Like y'all really been going crazy. Just run those movies up and the other what ifs that I dropped, because I do plan on finishing those. But for now, we ain't talking about that. Well, please do run that up. I want to get to the goal of reaching 100 subs before my birthday. That would be probably like the best birthday gift ever, honestly. But yeah, this is gonna be what if Superman was in the Invincible universe. What if Superman was in Invincible, right? And without any further ado, I have watched Invincible and watched the recaps of it, but some of it do be slipping my mind, so please forgive me for any errors I may make. I got like the episode recap shit right here on my phone, so yeah, I might be off a little bit, but I'll try to keep it somewhat on track. So without any further ado, man, I hope y'all enjoyed this what if, and we finna just hop right into this shit, baby.
You got my heart racing, only one I'm chasing. Smoking up blood in your faces, send his ass to the pavement. If a nigga think I'm playing, Betty on me, she gon' shake it. Niggas hating, but I'm a
We're gonna go all the way back to the beginning. Well, not that far back, but we're gonna go back to the origins of Superman. And you already know the origins of Superman, but I'm gonna make it different this time. Kryptonians and Viltrumites were beefing. Kryptonians was beating the dog shit out of Viltrumites in every single way. So for Viltrum to win, they basically put all their time in science and shit and figured out the Kryptonians' weaknesses, and they poisoned the Red Son, and they had help with Brainiac. They made a deal with Brainiac, but they didn't know it was Brainiac, right? And so they had Viltrumites infiltrate Krypton, and that's what started a war. But since they didn't have like a yellow sun there, so their powers were kind of like useless. And so with that being said, since their powers were useless, right, they ended up they ended up going to war and trying to fend off the last of the Viltrumites. But since their planet was dying, and the Viltrumites kind of had power over them, and they were basically getting mollywopped, right? So Jor-El and Superman's and Jor-El's wife, right, sent Clark off into the spaceship, and he shot away into Earth, and that's when the planet blew up. And we're gonna say along that line, that's when Nolan was there, and he followed. He didn't follow the ship. He didn't see the ship. He just left to go take over Earth, right? And so, hold on. These yawns are killing me, right? And so, he left to go take over Earth, and that's when we're gonna fast forward about, when Superman's ship crashes down. They take Superman in, John and Martha Kent, which now he's Clark Kent, and he lives in Kansas, Smallville. But we're gonna say during like his middle school years, they got rich off the farm, right? They got rich off the farm. They sold the farm off. I know it's not something that would really happen in Superman lore, yeah, but for Invincible's sake, we're gonna say that they were super well off, but at the same time, they still installed those morals and values in Clark that we all know today. But it's a little different because Invincible is known for like killing and Clark is not too much of a killer, but we'll say when push comes to shove, if he needs to do it, he will do it. And so yeah. So John, he taught him how to, not control. We'll get to the power part later. So, they move in the exact city where Mark Grayson and Nolan Grayson are at, right? Mark and Nolan are at, right? And so we're gonna say that that's when Clark started exhibiting powers. And so he started exhibiting powers, like super strength, super speed, super durability, hearing, heat vision, x-ray vision, super sight, all the things that Clark can do, but he can't fly. He couldn't fly that time. So we're going to incorporate like something really unique here. And John taught him how to use his powers, and Clark is able to like super jump, but he can't fly. So this is going to be before he meets Mark. We're going to say that I saw Eve, I think her name is Eve. Eve, yeah, her name's Eve, but I don't know her full name. I only know her superhero name, but I would say that Eve is, her name too. But forgive me if I'm wrong, comment, you can correct me, and I'll like for future reference, I'll just start rewatching it so I could, understand it better. But yeah, so we're gonna say that he doesn't really like using his powers because he wants to be normal, but at the same time he's not shying away from it, because when he's able to help people, he'll be able to help people. Like he, if it's like something in his town, he'll stop it, before people can see. Nothing too major, right? And so yeah, one day we're gonna say that it was we're gonna say that an Eve story and her origin story, when her siblings came to attack her in the city, John and Martha were, driving through the city, and then that's when, they crashed through, and then all three of her siblings started fighting, and three of her siblings that were like genetically modified started fighting, right? And so Eve makes like, a katana with like a shield, and she starts giving them the work like she was in the show. So, everything's going to canon. She's holding her own. But then that's when one of the brothers she hit with she made materialized like a bat, and she hit the dog shit out of him, and it flew into the Kent vehicle, and it knocked him off the bridge. And that's when Superman, that's when Clark, everything slowed down for Clark. And as the as the thing was about to as the car was about to hit the the ground, right? That's when Superman, got out the car, everything was in slow motion. You can see like his after images. Like if y'all watch Smallville, and when he like runs in those slow motion scenes, that you can see like a shadow or like a very faint after image running after him. That's how it looks when he enters those slow motion scenes, right? And so he runs, and he jumps off the bridge, makes a crater because it's Superman. And then he catches the car, right, and puts the car down. And then that's when one of the brothers start attacking. That's when one of Eve's siblings started attacking Clark for no reason, right? Because he saw that he was a superhuman, right? And so he thought, oh, maybe that's one of Eve's partners, right? And so he started attacking, and that's when John jumped in the way, and he smacked John, and he kind of flew back. And then that's when Superman got mad, as he was like, Dad. And so he used his speed, and then he gave him the meanest right hook, making shock waves. And he broke through the bridge, and Eve was like, what is that? And then that's when Martha said that she'll try to take care of John, just, try to protect the people, because, Clark doesn't like using his powers, but at the same time, if people needs help, he is going to help. And so, that's when, what is it? Superman grabs like this trench coat, right? He grabs like this trench coat, and it has like a mask up. It's like a firefighter trench coat, right? So he puts the hood up and the mask up, and then he jumps on the bridge, and he begins to help Eve. He begins to help Eve out. So this is like a prequel to the Invincible story, because Eve doesn't know who Superman is. She doesn't know who Clark is yet. So they begin to fight, right? Like, they fighting the oldest of the brothers. I don't know their names, but anyway, they get this scrapping, bro. Like, everything pretty much goes to canon, where they attack, on a bridge, like I said, and then Clark begins to help out. And as we're gonna say that they're relatively around the same age, because Clark is like beginning to go to high school, and I would think that that her name is Samantha. Yeah, I had to search it up when I cut that part out, but yeah. Sam, Eve, Wilkins, I think it's Wilkins. I could be wrong about that, but Sam, Eve, her middle name is Eve, but yeah, Eve, like we said, yeah, she was giving them the beats, right? And so, that's when she, destroyed the bridge, and everything was like chaos and shit, right? Her trying to fight while protecting people, innocent bystanders, and they're fighting, and Superman is taking one of the one that has the red hair. He's taking him on. So I think their ability is like to manipulate their flesh that they have and have regeneration. And so he made like this spiky rock ball mallet, not mallet, but mace of a hand, right? He made like a mace with his hand. And so that's when he started, him and Superman started going back and forth with, him hitting Superman in the jaw. But Superman is not fazed by that, because he's kind of upset that, they hurt his dad. And so he's like on that anger trip, right? And so he looks at him, his head turns, and then he looks at him, and that's when his eyes turn red, and he said, "You hurt my father." And then he just gave him the meanest gut punch and flew in the air. But he wasn't done yet. So he jumped in the air, and then he grabbed him by his shirt, and then threw him back down to the ground, right? And then that's when Superman finished the shit, bro. Just boom, came crashing down on him. But he was able to get out the way, and then he made it into like swords. So he started slashing, and then Superman's stuff started getting cut up, like his makeshift costume, because he didn't want his identity out there. It started getting cut up, right? And so that's when he wasn't like, Superman wasn't as angry anymore. When it comes to like Superman in this universe, I'm not nerfing him, but at the same time, I want to make it interesting. So I'm gonna say that does technically make it feel like I'm nerfing him. Yeah, it kind of does, but I'm not nerfing him. I'm gonna say, yes, Superman will still be able to beat Mark. He will still be able to fuck up Omni-Man. Is he at that echelon yet? No. I'm saying Omni-Man will only win because he has experience. But at the same time, I feel like if you have multiple powers like that, and on the Superman level, experience can only get you so far, because Superman is a fast learner when he fights too. So let's take that into account. And plus, I'm going to say John had him in an MMA camp, so he know how to fucking throw them hands, right? But yeah, actually, no, I would just say he was in a boxing camp. He knows how to kick, but he's more of a striker than a grappler type. But yeah, anyway, they started, going back and forth. Sorry for that tangent. They started, he turned his arms into like some like solidified swords, and they started, fighting each other as he tried to stab what is it? He tried to one of Eve's brothers tried to stab Superman. Clark. Well, I could say Clark because they don't know who he is. Tried to stab Clark, right? But it only pierced the trench coat. It didn't pierce his skin. So he looked at it. He looked at him and he grabbed it. And then he just grabbed his hand and then basically just shattered that shit, bro. He shattered that and then grabbed the remainder of his arm and then gave him an elbow. He grabbed it and gave him an elbow. And then that's when he grabbed him by the face and then slammed him in the ground. And then that's when he did it again. He slammed him on the ground again. And then that's when he threw him into a building. And then he was knocked out for a little bit. And then that's when he went to go help Eve back out as he jumped back up to the bridge as Eve got cut, right? And then Clark noticed she was bleeding, so he was like, "Hey, you're injured. I don't think you should be fighting anymore." And then that's when she said, "Who are you? This is my problem. They're my siblings that were genetically modified, and now I have to be the one to deal with this. I appreciate your help, but I don't need you to help." And then that's when Superman looked back at her and he was like, "Please, you're injured. I don't want you to, overexhaust yourself. My dad taught me to not let a woman do everything by herself, And then that's when she kind of blushed at it. And then that's when she asked for his name. He was like, I'll get back to you on that, but we have to focus." And then that's when the one with the blonde hair comes in and tries to smack Eve away, but Superman came in there and blocked, like instantly, like speed blitz, like like it looked like that man like flash stepped in front of her and he blocked it as he brought his hand back and pushed him away. And that's when Eve remarked how strong he is, and he was like, "Yeah, he said, "Yeah, I'm not your average person around here." He said, "But since you need help, I'll help." And so that's when her other brother came back, and then that's when they begin to fight as they both threw cars, and Superman dodged it, but realized that the car flew into like a oiler tank, like a gas semi truck, right? And so that's when Superman went to go help those people so it doesn't explode. And as he was getting those people out the out the car, he used it caught on fire, so he just did the next best thing, which was to throw the shit in the air as hard as he could, so when it does blow up, it doesn't cause casualties. So that's what he did. He threw it up in the air, and that shit blew up. And so after that, he turned around to see Eve get fucking jumped. Right, she was getting jumped, bro. I'm gonna be real. She was getting jumped, and she was on the losing side. And then that's when they were about to end her. Right, they were about to she was bleeding, and then when she was I don't even know what I said right there, but she was bleeding, and that's when he grabbed that, he made like a makeshift crowbar, I think that what it was, and so he was about to swing it. He put it up over his head, and then he came down full force, and then that's when everything slowed down, and that's when Clark ran towards her, and then he shielded her with his body as it just broke, his weapon that he made broke as he in that same moment he used his heat vision and blasted him away, and then that's when the other brother tried to punch Clark, and then that's when half of his hoodie blew off, but the mask still stayed there. And so when the hoodie blew off, it revealed his top half of his face, his eyes, his hair. And we're gonna say it's like his hair on My Adventures with Superman when he's not in his super form. That's how his hair is always gonna look. It's not gonna do that curl up. It's just gonna be looking like from My Adventures with Superman, if y'all ever seen that show. So that's how it's basically gonna be. Like, it's gonna be like that. I'm not doing a classic curl over and stuff. No, we're not doing that. No, we're not doing that. So I'm trying to make this look as saucy as You know what? No, I'm gonna give him the Sung Jin Woo haircut, the Sung Jin Woo fade. That's what he's gonna have. So he got the Sung Jin Woo fade, right? And so, you know, Eve was kind of mesmerized by this, right? And so, she thanked him for what he did, and then that's when he took out one of her brothers with the punch, and then he tried to come back, but for the redhead one, Clark used his laser vision. He didn't want to kill, but he felt like there was no other option. So like, and it was kind of in a moment. So like, he was like, he tried to he punched him with like the mallet that he made, again, like knowing that shit wouldn't work. He grabbed it, he blocked it, and then he punched him, and his fist almost went through him, but he threw him up. Like, as he punched him in the air, he used his heat vision, and it was like a little bit more powerful than what he thought it was. So it was like, he got shot, and it was like the classic Kamehameha scene, where once they get hit by that blast, they get disintegrated and they start disappearing. That's kind of exactly what happened. And as for the older brother, the one that led the charge against him, he kind of gets defeated. And then that's when the sun was like peeking out, and the sun was obviously out. And then that's when the sun started hitting Clark's skin, and then that's when he realized, like, even the tiny cuts and the blood that was drawn a little bit, even the blood that was drawn a little bit, it started to heal. And then he realized that he was like, feeling like his power. He was just like absorbing the sunlight. And then as he was about to leave, Eve asked for his Eve asked for his like name again, and he was like, "Don't worry, I feel like we'll meet again soon." And so that's when he basically blitzed and like super sped off, since he can't fly. And then, after that, whatever happens on Eve's side of her origin story, it takes place. We're kind of covering Clark's origin story leading up to episode 1 of Invincible. So, this might be like an hour or maybe an hour 30, depending how I feel. But, after that, Clark rushes to the hospital after Martha got her injuries treated. John is in the hospital, in critical condition. No. He's not in critical condition, but he's going to be there for a while. And so, he's kind of, actually, no. He's in critical condition, and, she said that, Martha said that, everything's going to be okay. His father is just as strong as him. And, he got his strength from his father. And so, Clark was believing what his mom said. And, he's going to be in, obviously in positive spirits, because he doesn't want his dad to, pass, obviously. But yeah. So that happens. After that, they go home. Martha they really don't have to work, since, like I said, they sold the farm. So, but she likes to work to keep some normalcy. And so, she said that she registered him for high school. She registered him for high school. It was going to be Mark's high school. I don't know what their high school is called, but yeah. Please, somebody comment what the high school is called. And, yeah. And so, yeah, we're going to begin, we're going to say a week passes by, almost 2 weeks. And that's when Clark starts school. Right? And so, as he starts school, that's when the, season 1, episode 1 of Invincible begins, where, those, the twins that are clones attack the White House, and, the Guardians of the Globe come through fighting, and then Omni-Man makes his appearance as Clark was like, whoa, I didn't know there was people like me that can that were able to do that. So Clark is, like, wow, Omni-Man is kind of cool. But, yeah, And so I don't know what I was trying to say there, but he was thinking that Omni-Man might have some answers about his heritage since he's an alien from space too. So he was like, okay, maybe if I get to meet up with him one day, I might understand where I am from or something like that. And so right, and so everything pretty much goes to canon. He sees Omni-Man for the first time, and he goes to the hospital to talk to his dad, saying that he doesn't want to become a hero, but at the same time he wants to make John proud, so he'll become a hero. And so he basically makes like a costume. It's gonna be like it's basically like a hoodie, like a firefighter hoodie. Like I'll put a picture up. It's what he force wore in My Adventures with Superman when he had the firefighter stuff on with the mask covering up his face, I think. Yeah, that's gonna be like his main outfit for now until he gets his official outfit after he finds his Kryptonian heritage and all the artifacts that he has to find, which he does have some of them, but he also has to find the fucking cave for it too. So that's pretty much what he has to do. And so after that, he basically goes into he goes to his room, trying to figure out what he should do. And so he goes outside in the backyard, and he was like, he's just wishing that he could just jump away and fly away and just like get away from everything. And so that's when Clark sped out, right? He sped out, he ran off into like a basically like a forest area, right? And so he just needed some pressure to relieve off of his anger, right? So he started hitting the trees start flying back. He hit the rock split, and then that's when he was like running and jumping. He started running and jumping, and he was getting distance. Until then, he just thought about everything, what happened, and then he just let go. He landed and gave one final push, and he took off, shot up a huge crater. He took off flying up in the air, and then he was like, whoa. He wasn't getting a hang of it at first, because he was like, oh, I'm flying, and then he was like, oh, I'm flying, and then he was happy. And then he almost crashed into a plane. But after he figured out the kinks, he fell back down, crash landed, and then he did his classic fly off with the Man of Steel when Man of Steel the movie, when Clark first figured out how to fly after he crash landed. He flew and got control of it, and then that's when he blasted off into space as he he shot up into space, right? And then as he shot up into space, Cecile was tracking like a fast moving object that was like moving in space, and he was only aware that Omni-Man could move like that. I would argue that the Immortal could move like that too, but not like Omni-Man. So he was thinking that who else is there, like another version of Omni-Man that could move like that? Because even the Guardians of the Globe that had powers like that couldn't like speed like that, yet alone go into space like that, right? And so after that, Cecile was like, track that high speed moving object, because they think it's Omni-Man. But then Cecile ruled out that it couldn't have been Omni-Man, because Omni-Man is at home, because he has his ways to see people. But that's when he was like, he zoomed in and he saw Clark, but he doesn't know who Clark is. He saw like his outfit as he was just floating in space, and he was just like flying around, basically like smiling at the fact that he could fly. And so that's when he shot back down to Earth, and then that's when he was like, I could fly faster and faster, and that's what he did. And then that's when Cecile, one of Cecile's guards, or workers saying that they're having a hard time, that he's actually moving faster than what the real-time tracker can provide at what speed he's clocking at. And then they were saying, well, what speed is he clocking at now? He was like, currently he's moving 5 times faster than the speed of sound, and he's only picking up. And so that's when Superman was like really smiling, because he was like, like imagine you had Superman's powers and you figured out how to fly, bro. You would, bro. Come on now, you would be like amazed and happy. So he just experienced his power, and so he just like, he slows down, and then he just takes off, and then it leaves like that classic sonic boom as he just shoots off into the distance. And so he realized that, trying to push his powers like that does drain him, because like I said, like, I'm not finna nerf Superman. He just has to get older, and he'll just get more stronger that way, since that's pretty much how it worked in Smallville. Like it didn't just happen overnight. Like, he got stronger and stronger and stronger as he gotten older. And so this is just like freshman. This is just like, sophomore, freshman, era. Him, I'm going to say that, there was like a time skip. This is like freshman, sophomore era Clark. So he just figured out how to fucking fly, and he's going to abuse it. So, after he just, takes off, they lose track of him. And Cecile finds this in like an interesting development. And so after that, he begins to basically say that, since we have new players in the game, he's gonna be able he just wants to like have everything monitored now, including the Guardians of the Globe and what happens with them. And so they understood where he was coming from, and then they begin to do that. And so we fast forward to where Mark is at, right? Mark does his job, he's doing his work. He wants to be like his father, as you all know, as him and Omni-Man and Debbie are, discussing, and Omni-Man explains that, even a latest bloomer, exhibits their powers before their 18th birthday. And so Mark was 17. And so that's when he said that, he really wants to be like Omni-Man. So, after their whole conversation happens, he clocks into work, and as he was taking out the trash, he threw the first trash bag in, right, normally, and then for the second one, he tossed that shit into orbit. And then he was like, he looked at it, he looked stunned, and he was like, it's about time, right? And so, that will be it for the first episode. We're just gonna hop into the next one, right? And so, the next episode, we're going to start with Mark, right? We're going to start with Mark as he is currently, in awe as he got his powers, right? And so as he gets his powers, right, he gets his powers, right. I forgot. And that same notion, Omni-Man attacked the Guardians of the Globe. They got clapped, and yeah, he's kind of out, down for the count. Because even though Omni-Man is strong, the Invincible universe is kind of weak. I'm not going to hold you. Like, I enjoy it, but those arguments about Omni-Man versus Superman, or, every version of Omni-Man versus one version of Superman, which they're all canon, that shouldn't have been a conversation, but I digress. So yeah, Omni-Man beats, basically kills and brutalizes the Guardians of the Globe, and he's the only survivor. So far, they only think that they all got attacked, and Omni-Man was trying to, help them, but he's the only survivor. And so, with that being said, we can move forward. So, with Mark, trying to be a superhero and juggle life, being a superhero. He goes back to the aunt shop. I think I said that wrong. So he goes back to where Nolan got his superhero costume, as Mark just beat his first villain named Titan, where he is, felt pretty invincible. So that's going to be his new stamp mark, Invincible, hence his name, even though, yeah, not invincible. But, yeah, he has his moments, but yeah, not Invincible. But I still like the series, but Superman and Spider-Man are just my guy. But he got his new suit and he starts flying around, and then that's when not Superman, but Clark realizes that he might he's kind of cool. He's kind of cool. And so Mark was like, not Mark, Clark was just like, dang, so there might be more you know there might be more what is it, more Kryptonians than he thought, because sorry for the because since Clark is developing his powers, he's finding more and more of Krypton's artifacts and things, as he still has his spaceship, and that's when he was able to get like the crystal to summon the Fortress of Solitude, and that's where he does. So as Mark was flying around, that's when Clark hears like the ringing for the crystal, so he runs straight to the crystal, and then he just he runs straight towards it. Sometimes he runs, sometimes he flies. It really depends how he feels. And so as he grabs the crystal, he basically takes off to he basically takes off to like the Antarctic, the Arctic, where somewhere it's cold, throws the crystal, bam, Fortress of Solitude, right? And so after he gets to the Fortress of Solitude, he walks through, meets his hologram version of Jor-El, and he tells him that he's his real father, and he is proud to see what kind of man Clark has grown into. And so with that being said, he basically tells him the history of Krypton, and then that's when Jor-El asked if Clark had any more questions. First he said, what is his real name? And Jor-El said his real name is Kal-El, but his Earth name that he goes by is Clark. And so he also asked, like, is there any other Kryptons? Like, is there any other Kryptons that are on Earth? Because he sees Omni-Man, and he said it's on the news. And then that's when Jor-El basically hacks into like everyday media, but since his technology is so advanced, you probably wouldn't even be able to catch it till it's too late. So he basically hacks into everything, and then he sees Nolan, sees the O, and basically the way he fights, how fast he is, and he's not exhibiting any other any other Kryptonian ability. And then that's when Jor-El like that instantly knew what Omni-Man is and what Nolan is. And that's when Jor-El said that he's a Viltrumite, and Kryptonians and Viltrumites have always been long-standing enemies. And that's when Clark was like, how are we enemies? And then that's when Jor-El explains that basically there was a war going on, and Krypton was actually trying to stop Viltrumites from they were trying to stop Viltrum from trying to take over their sector of their section of the galaxy that they had, right? Because intergalactic stuff, there's more than one thing that be going on in the universe, right? So they got intergalactic stuff going on. And so with that being said, Viltrum was Jor-El basically says that Viltrum was responsible for taking over their neighboring planets that they had business with and were very well acquainted with. And so in retaliation, since they started a war with them, Krypton began to fight against Viltrum. And so Viltrum were very good combatants. They were like evenly matched, but when certain planets came and the sun was yellow, Kryptonians always outdid them. And so they decided to try to fight places where where there won't be a yellow sun or a red sun. And so that's when, things would get pretty even around there. And so with that being said, that's when Viltrum actually created like a synthetic weapons to harm to harm Kryptonians. But then that's when the Kryptonians retaliated. They got so advanced with the technology that their tech what they were doing wasn't affecting them. And then in retaliation, they're the one that created the Starge, or the what is it? The Starge. I don't know how I'm trying to say it, but I just feel like I can't. It's on the tip of my tongue. The star, basically the disease that not Kryptonians but Viltrumites are very susceptible to, and it kills them like that. Well, not like instantly, but it's basically they will die with that disease. So it was actually the Kryptonians that made that bioweapon that affects Viltrumites, and they were winning with that. And so that's when Viltrum decided to spread out their scouts to find somebody who could actually, like defeat their adversaries, defeat the Kryptonians. So they've unknowingly made a deal with Brainiac, and Brainiac helped them. And then that's when Viltrum infiltrated their planet, and that's how that's how everything happened. And so after Jor-El explains all of that to him, that's when Clark realized that maybe Clark would listen to it, and he was like, maybe Omni-Man isn't like that. And then he also said that the person that goes by Invincible also exhibits Viltrumite, Viltrumite not personalities, but Viltrumite abilities also. He's like, Viltrumite abilities rival Kryptonians' abilities under a yellow sun. And that's when he was like, but the only thing that keeps us ahead of them is their heat vision, their superior speed, their superior durability, and overall just their abilities in general. Like so I'm gonna kind of like even it out, but at the same time, Clark will always have an edge. So with that being said, that's when Clark wanted to get set up around everything. And so he started having news like instant news everywhere. His Kryptonian knowledge is getting better. And that's when his father said that he could synthesize a suit for Clark. And then that's when Clark was like, yeah, I would like he said that he would wanted a suit synthesized, but something like this, he would want he basically would want his he would basically want words. So he wants the trench coat that has the House of L symbol in the front, and then he wants like what am I trying to give him? I'm trying to give him something. Just something. Let's see how Superman's suit would look, because it has to be fire, bro. It can't be no bullshit, bro. It can't be no BS, all right? I'm not finna let it be no BS. You know what? Absolute power Superman, but it's going to be a trench coat edition. So, yeah, it's going to be a trench coat. It has the House of L symbol. It's going to be, actually, I have the perfect one. It's going to be the black suit, the solar suit, the black suit, right? It's the black suit. But yeah, so it's like a trench coat, solar, it's like the black suit, right? House of L symbol, it has like a trench coat feel, and the it's advanced enough to where it like, you know, fits the whoever's wearing it. It fits the user. So it fits him, and you know, he has like the cape effect with the trench coat, and yeah, that's how he likes it. And so he basically and for the mask part, I would say that he wears let's see. Now I'm gonna do the classic original. He has glasses, but they're like golden frames, so nobody knows who he is. But when he shows his face, nobody knows who he is. So after that, after he gets his suit, right, he looks at the news, and that's when the flaxins, you know, come to Earth, and they start, like, you know, starting an invasion. And that's when they start the invasion, right? And that's when Mark comes, and along with Adam Eve and what else? Eve, Duplicate, Rexplosion, or Explode Rex. Basically Rex. Who else? Dang, who else is there? Trying to figure out. So Mark comes. What is it? Mark, the Rexplode, like I said. Who else? Duplicate, and we're gonna say that motherfucking dang, I really can't name it. It's confusing me. But to diffuse all that, bro. Basically, to diffuse all that. So it's basically the robot, Rex, Duplicate, motherfucking who else? And Adam Eve, along with I think his name is Bulletproof. That came. I think he's a part of the Teen Heroes. What is it? The teen team, right? So it's basically, damn, man. I just thought about it too. All right, bro. Let me get right, bro. Let me get right. So the robot, Rexplode, Bulletproof, and Shrinking Ray. I think that's who what is it? I think that's who were at the that was on the team at the moment. Cause I don't think Monster Girl was there until like later. Y'all could correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah. So that's who was there. They basically begin to, like, you know, fight against the Flaxins as you know, Superman saw what was going on, and then that's when Clark said that he has to go. And then Jor-El was like, he doesn't want, he needs to have his journey to be ready to become a full-fledged Kryptonian warrior, but at the same time his journey is on his own, and he will only, you know, help and support any decision that he makes. And so knowing that, you know, that's when Superman was like, I really appreciate that, Dad. And so that's when he, you know, blasted off from the Fortress of Solitude, and flew towards he flew towards the city. And so as that was going on, the Flaxins were low-key giving belt to ass on the teen team, right? Adam Eve was doing her thing, Samantha was doing her thing, but my thing is, how the flying fuck does she peak in middle school, bro? She was giving belt to ass in her origin story, and all of a sudden she don't be moving the same way that she was moving in in Invincible. Now I'm like, damn, bro, like, what the fuck happened, man? Like, you were not moving like that now. What the fuck happened? But excuse me. But I digress, you know. I can't be, beggars can't be choosers. So yeah, that was who was a part of the team. They were pushing back, and that's when Mark kind of froze up, cuz this was like his first time like defending, and so that's when they shot like this concrete shit at him that prevented him from moving. It prevented him from moving. It basically prevented him from moving, right? And so after that, he gets like this rage burst, which basically threw everything. It basically made like this force push away, and so that's when he started beating the that's when he started like beating the leader, and then that's when they shot like this laser, and he came to protect this old lady, and then he protect the old lady, but that's when he froze up, and then that's when the team came. So I think I kind of like reversed it or got too ahead and then kind of fixed it, but overall this is still a good story in my opinion. So basically after that, Mark got the old lady to the hospital, and then as he was flying her to the hospital, he sees something break the sound barrier, and they're both flying at a pretty fast speed, and then that's when they both looked at each other, and Mark was like, "Huh? Who are you?" But he didn't have time for that because he wanted to get the old lady to the hospital, right? And so after that, after he got her to the hospital, he stayed there with Superman, with Clark basically, coming down and, started, giving belt to ass to the Flaxins. And then that's when the Flaxins started dying because they were rapidly aging, since time moves different in the, since time moves differently in their Earth or their planet. They basically were rapidly aging, and then that's when Superman, that's when he made his grand entrance, and everybody was asking for his name. And then that's when he says that he hasn't come up with the name yet, but when he does, actually, no, he says that he wants to be known as Superman, the Man of Tomorrow, or Superman, the Man of Tomorrow, but just call him Superman for short. And he was like, or the Man of Steel. So after that, he met up with the team. They exchanged information, not their identities, but how they're doing. He thanks Clark for not Clark. He thanks Superman for. They thank Superman for no, you know what? No. He's not a man yet, so we're just gonna say Superboy. Yeah, we're just gonna go with Superboy for now. So after that, he thanks them. They thank him, and then that's when he was like, they were like, "Do you want to join a team?" And then that's when Superboy, aka Clark, was like, super teams, I really haven't thought about it, but if I do meet you guys again, or we end up working together, I'll give you an answer then. And then that's when he floated away, and then he kind of blasted off. And then that's when like every time he flies away, that he leaves like this little like white trail, and then it just like disappears, right? So he just blast off into the basically blasting off into the sunset, right? And so after that, after that, he basically what is it? He begins to not worry. Yeah, he starts to worry about John, because his health isn't getting any better. His health isn't getting any better, and he's slowly declining in health. He's waking up, but I think it's like slow internal bleeding, and they can't do anything about it. So John is slowly dying. So to prevent that, he said that he wants to get released from the hospital, and he just wants to live life normally. When it's his time to go, it'll be his time to go. and that, his internal bleeding slowly becomes like cancer. So yeah, it's like, it's slow. He's slowly dying. So you know, him and John and Clark have a long talk, and he doesn't want his what is it? He doesn't want John to die, because he tells him that he's able to save him, and then that's when John was like, son, listen. He said, most things in life aren't going to work out how you want them to work out. He was like, human life is so fragile. And he's like, and then he says, I know that you've known that, and doesn't that make it worth protecting? And then he was like, yes, Dad, but he was like, son, it's okay. He was like, when it's my time to go, he said, when it's my time to go, I'll be at peace. As long as I can see you, graduate high school, graduate college, maybe. He said, as long as I get to see you, turn 18 and 21 and maybe 25, and, watch the young boy that I knew that could lift tractors when he was 5, and, shoot lasers out his eyes when he sees his crush. Well, not shoot lasers out of his eyes, lift tractors when he was 5, and have skin harder than steel and tungsten. He just wants to see him grow into a boy that he took care of, into a man that he raised, and be proud of that. He said, and then I said what he said, as long as I get to see you become a man, and use your powers to protect people like you always been doing, and just live by the morals and values we instilled in you, that's all I would always be. And spend these days that I have with Martha and you, and watch you save the world, and save and defend our city countless times, and be proud of that. That is all I would ask for. He was like, I feel like if I do get the cure, I will be cheating. He was like, maybe it's fate. Maybe it's my fate to do this. So he was like, if it isn't fate, just let fate happen. But when it comes to you, if you don't like it, you can change your fate. He was like, don't let fate define you. When it comes to us humans, we kind of have no choice. But when it comes to you, you always have a choice, regardless of what fate says. And so that's when, Clark begins to cry, and, he lets tears come out his eyes. And then that's when they hug it out, and we fade to black. Right. Now, the next day comes by, as, everything is pretty chill, as, Mark goes to fight a villain from Mount Rushmore, as he uses seismic waves to attack, because he doesn't want, the villain is basically planning on destroying destroy Mount Rushmore, as Omni-Man goes to the funeral for the Guardians of the as the Guardians of the Globe, Guardians of the Globe funeral. And so as that was happening, Mark was struggling with trying to beat the seismic scientist, right? And so that's when Clark heard Mark fighting, and then that's when he went to go, check out to see how Mark was doing, because it sounded like he needed a little help. And so, Superman shows up in his suit looking majestic as shit. And so they begin to fight together, and they beat him together, as Adam Eve comes to them and tells them that he's looking to as a robot is looking to recruit a new team of teen heroes to save the world. So it's basically gonna be like a Young Justice, I guess. And so all three of them fly to the base, and they basically they basically they uh they basically fly to the fly to the base as Clark and Mark. Wow, that shit kind of rhymed. Clark and Mark. Okay, Clark and Mark meet up with the rest of the team as Robot, tells him that, they're recruiting for, a new band of superheroes for the team. And so far they got Rex, Duplicate, him, uh, Bulletproof, Shrink Ray. I think that's what her name is, Shrink Ray, and Adam Eve. This is before Eve discovers that Eve discovers that Rex is cheating on her with Kate. And so yeah. So Robot asks if Mark wants to join the team along with Clark. Clark said that he'll join, but he would want to be more on a reserve side so he could feel the team out, and then if he likes it, he'll join. But Mark declines, as they both fly back, and so they get the chat, and everything pretty much goes to canon as Mark flies away for Mark flies away because he has to go back. He remembered that he had to go back to Amber, right? And so that's when Clark followed Mark, since he was like, hey, I'm not doing anything else. I might as well use that opportunity to get away too. And so they both flew away. And as they were flying, they were conversating about, their life and how and what kind of alien they are. As Mark said that he's a Viltrumite, and then that's when Mark says that he's a Viltrumite, and Clark doesn't think Mark is a bad person. So, and plus Mark doesn't know the history behind Kryptons versus Viltrumites, right? And so with that being said, they basically chat, and they go on a building. They come like on this super tall building, just chatting in the air. And then that's when Superman was like, he uses his X-ray vision. He was like, Mark, is that you? And so that's when Mark was like, hey, how do you know my name? And then that's when Clark took out his glasses, and he was like, it's me, Clark. And he was like, no way. Are you serious? You have powers too? Well, yeah. And then, they begin to chat because they were really good friends in elementary school, but they moved far away from each other, so they kind of forgot about each other. And then that's when they went to the same high school together, but they really didn't know each other till they got like a good look at each other. And then they were like, that's awesome. And so they were basically like, caught up on some things. And that's when Mark was like, they started talking about Kryptonian and Viltrum and Viltrumites. And then that's when Clark chose not to say anything about it, because he was like, he has a friend like that he could relate to and tell these things about, superhero things about. And he was like, he found it like refreshing. And so when he did that, so they both like, revealed their identity to each other. They dapped each other up as signifying like, whenever they need each other's help, they'll work together and stuff. And so that's when they both fly away in their respective directions. And so after Mark makes up with Amber, since they had a little lovers quarrel, that's when Mark and Mark and Omni-Man begin to train as Mark says that did he know about anybody that's a Viltrumite, not a Viltrumite but a Kryptonian. That's when Nolan was like, a Kryptonian, who I haven't heard of them in a while, because Nolan was there when they destroyed the planet, right? When they destroyed the planet. He didn't lead the invasion. I'm gonna say Thrag did. Thrag led the invasion. And so Anissa was one of the ones that infiltrated and killed Superman's mom, Jor-El's wife. So yeah, let's see how that works out when Anissa shows up later down at What Ifs. I'm not gonna do that shit right now, but yeah. So basically she not she he talks about the complicated history of Viltrum and Krypton, as Mark was taking it with a grain of salt because he really didn't believe maybe they did have their odds, but maybe all Kryptonians aren't bad. And then that's when Omni-Man was like, you met a Kryptonian today? Who was it? And then that's when Mark was like, yeah, the new superhero that came out named Superboy, he's a Kryptonian. And then that's when Mark was like, not Mark, but Omni-Man was like, interesting. And he was like, well, that'll conclude our training for today. Just keep up the good work on the things that you need to work on. And when I say when we train again, that's when we train again. And that's when Mark said, all right, and he flies back to the house. And that's where I'm going to be leaving this What If off. Oh my gosh, this is an hour special of What If Superman was in Invincible. I hope y'all enjoyed the What If minus the hiccups I may have had. I hope y'all enjoyed the prologue. So y'all get like a feel for it. Overall, I just hope y'all enjoyed the What If, man. I appreciate y'all for all the love and support y'all been showing me. I really thank y'all. Like, y'all really don't know how much y'all do for me, for real. And so, yeah, I really just appreciate y'all for all the love and support, man. Y'all been showing me. Y'all been going crazy. Y'all been going crazy with it. So I really do appreciate y'all for all the love and support y'all been showing me. And, yeah, I told y'all I was going to be uploading this since y'all voted for this. So I got to make good on my part. I got to do my due diligence. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate y'all for all the love and support y'all showing me, man. Part 2 will be coming out next week, or I might record this week and then drop it on the weekend like I usually do, drop on weekends. But yeah, I really appreciate y'all for all the love and support y'all shown, man. Let's run these numbers up. Let's run this What If up, man. I will be covering seasons 1, 2, and 3 of Invincible, and if y'all don't want to wait for that long, I might read the comic book and cover it on there too. And so yeah, I just might do that. But I'm just doing this series so y'all can so I can have like a feel for how y'all like the series so far. If y'all fucking with it and run them views up and likes up, hey, I will drop it. But yeah, this is just like a feel for it, see if y'all like it or not. But without any further ado, I'm gonna let this outro play. This is Redux What If signing off. Check out the other videos that I have posted. Check out the for my Maury X High School DxD people. I dropped that movie for y'all, and I dropped the What If Noctis was in the Young Justice universe for y'all. So I hope y'all fuck with that too. So, without any further ado, I appreciate y'all for all the love and support, and I am out.